It's very interesting to maybe try and speculate on what's happening now, just looking back at why we got here, because you could say that the commercial world, pop culture is like taking over, but they're filling a huge void. And obviously, like the decay of ornamentation through mass production, and the fact that Owen Jones' grammar ornament was misused and copied instead, and then like Otto Floss was writing about the fact that like, why is no one inventing anything new? What is super interesting, and what we try and, I think, in our work and in teaching and stuff, to try and remember that it's more the experience that it could give rather than what it is itself. Because I would highly criticize the postmodern period as being completely only self-reflective and caring nothing about anyone else than within the little family. And I think we're still in that sphere, like architects are still in that sphere, and not thinking about what's the actual quality of having a space that is so incredibly rich, like where the intricacy just gives you pleasure at some level that is no one has really properly managed to describe.
You're building Gothic churches. It's not like they wrote the style first and then they started making them, but they actually, through making them and through copying one another, evolving from what others are doing in other places, then you start constructing an archetype, and then when there is enough of them, you kind of start reading them, and then you kind of start identifying patterns. What it's happening with architecture is an obsession with innovation, when it feels like maybe architecture doesn't necessarily need to be about innovation at all, but just about evolution, right? Or evolving something. So nothing scares me more than trying to do something new. Because then it's like, I'm gonna throw away all this. I'm gonna throw away thousands of years just because I want to do something new. When people get this kind of allergy to working in a very stylistic way, or working with semiotics, it's maybe because it feels like copying. And again, when you see the Venetian is done based on Venice, and then everyone has a gut reaction, right? In the design world, they usually don't like it, or pretty much hate it, right? Because it is a copy, and copying is bad. Why? Like, what's the problem with copying? Copying is great, because through making it again, you learn what there is about it. What the theming expert knew about the Venetian was so incredible. But my point is that, like, bloody innovation is the problem. Like, the obsession with trying to innovate, and the word new, I just hate them. It stops you from being able to do anything, because like, oh no, it's been done before.
Specifically, maybe what's super interesting right now, which links back to what we were just talking about, is to be able to design experiences in a completely new way, because an experience can be served like and be almost scripted down to millisecond, even with whatever tools you use. And if you talk about semiotics, that's just experience, or a language, a spatial kind of experience through language coming at you at whatever means possible. And the means today are so different from the means to where architects are referencing semiotics, and it's in a way not really comparable. And that's what I mean, that's a little bit of a misunderstanding. The discussion about ornamentation and semiotic now is still talked about in a classical sense. Rem, the way he was talking about these things in the 80s, and Venturi and the kind of classic postmodernists at that time, they were not talking about what they were actually doing. They never heard anyone talking about this is a Corinthian column, and the reason why we have this. They never talked about grammar, but they just spoke about architecture can be language, like it can be understood as a linguistic systems, and it can be communication. What they were actually saying was never a part of any discussion, right? Just like now we're in the world of Egypt, like and like talking about angles and talking about like inscriptions and talking about proportions. No. The fact that we are using language in architecture is enough.